Good morning. Here we are. It looks like there's folks here. Hello, hello. Drop a note in the chat so that I know you're really here with me. This is my maiden voyage inviting folks to come into the YouTube live. And so I want to make sure that this works. So if you're here, it looks like you are, please just put anything in the chat so that I know we are connected. I'm going to actually click over to my Patreon page really quick to see what it looks like over there. It's saying watch later. Oh no. Okay, so I clicked play. It's saying watch later. Oh no. Okay. All right, so I think what you need to do to access the chat is actually click on the hyperlink on the actual video. It'll open to a new tab on YouTube, and then you can write in the chat, if that makes sense. Sorry about these technical difficulties. See, this is why we test drive things. This is why we test drive in life. So click the hyperlink in the video on Patreon to get to YouTube. And then you'll see the chat, you'll see the video, and we'll get this party started. Okay, so when you guys are here, just give me a little hello in the chat. I know I said that 1,000 times, but. All right, so here we are. We are going to do a primal movement flow. And so I want to invite you to get into your body this morning and be present to what is alive in you. Yay! Woo! Yes! Okay, cool. I'm seeing you all in the chat. This is so dope and exciting. Maureen, good morning. Joe, hello, beauty. Oh my God, I'm so stoked right now. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, this is dope. So essentially, this little spontaneous movement flow is an invitation for you to get into your body this morning and be present to, witness what is alive in you in this moment. And so I just am such a huge proponent and practitioner of movement because for me, movement is literally my life raft in life. It has been one of the key components in literally keeping me alive in my body on the planet all of these years. And it's my therapy, it's my medicine, it's my way to celebrate, it's my way to connect, it's my way to better understand myself, it's my way to express and speak. And so I love it because it's accessible to everyone, no matter what our abilities or disabilities are, right? Even if right now you are laying in a bed and you cannot move your body for whatever reason, we have the ability to feel into the movement, the dance of life that's just always happening in our bodies. Cells are always being born and dying. Blood is always coursing through the veins. The breath is rhythmically passing in and out. And the whole body is always just dancing. And so shout out to my sister Kirthi, who helped me realize that little gem when I was incapacitated in my body and could not move it and went into a space of deep depression when I was not able to actually move my body. Yay, Maureen, I'm glad you feel me on that. Okay, so I am I tend to be long-winded and I could like talk for hours, but let's get this movement party started. And then if any thoughts arise in terms of like things you want to share on this movement journey, like what comes up for you, just notice. Essentially, we're going to start in the head and work our way into the body because most of us kind of operate from up here and are just for whatever reason very disconnected from the rest of ourselves. And so I'm gonna just drop us in here and work our way into the body. And whatever your ability is in this moment, in this day, is perfect. I would love to invite your mind to be the sacred witness and to be the curious and compassionate observer of your body. So there's no judgment in how your body moves. Your body does not have to look like mine or move like mine. My voice is simply going to guide you into expression, and ultimately your body will be the one who is calling the shots with your movement, right? And so, yeah, if you have like questions or thoughts arise, hold them so that after our movement flow, you can drop them into the chat and we'll do the Ask Me Anything Q&A. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to put on music. I hope you can hear it. Drums, because you know how we feel about drums. And okay, so we are going to start off bowing into ourselves, into the earth. Let me know in the comments if the music is overriding my voice, or if you can even hear the music, and if you can hear my voice. If you can't, just follow along. So if it's available to you, get low to the earth. Okay, thank you, Maureen. So we're going to get low to the earth. In whatever position you can drop down to the earth. And we are going to bow into ourselves, bow into the earth. Slowly roll the head up. Notice the connection of your earth body temple to the one and the same. So let's start by taking our hands and putting them physically on our heads. Giving loving touch and presence to the head. Into the neck. Into the chest. Through the arms. Into the stomach, ribs, back. So we're making contact, connecting with our body temples. Saying hello, hello to the womb space or our reproductive space, no matter the gender, no matter what body parts you have or don't have. Saying hello to the thighs, knees, hips. Feeling the contact of the feet with the earth. And then take the feet wide. We're going to take the head and bow it down to the ground. Knees can be soft and pliable to make it spongy and easy. This is all for you. It doesn't have to look any specific way. So we'll take the head over. And sway side to side. Play with the tempo here. Shake your head no, nod your head yes. Good, and then roll it up. We're going to come into a little squat here. So take the hands. If it's available to you, open up the knees, open up the thighs. Get deep down into the squat. My daughter is doing it over there. You can't see her. And she has a toothbrush in her mouth. Take one shoulder forward, twist the head back. Switch it up. Good. Feel the fire activate in the squat. So we're going to stay low here for a second. Let some sway happen. Maybe draw infinity in the air. If you want, you can take it low, really low. Play with levels. Activate the body. Maybe draw infinity on the ground. And then we're gonna pop a squat. Let me turn this down a bit. I just want to talk about the squat for a second. So, squat, I've been doing a lot of squatting lately. I've been doing a lot of research and studying on the squat as a primal rewilding movement. Now, this is another thing. I've been changing up my life and rewilding my life. I'm shifting more and more to ground living. So I do as much as possible, I do my sitting on the ground. And I sleep on the ground now. I got rid of my bed. And I do as much squatting as I can during the day. My body naturally loves to squat. But after cancer and treatments, the treatments made my body very tense, tight, rigid, contracted. So squatting is much harder for me now. So I make it a daily practice to drop into my squat. For folks who cannot access this, what I like to suggest is if your heels are up, it's okay. You can put books under the heels, or you can hold on to a chair. I have my couch right here too. It's kind of stable, so I could hold on to it. You can also get in a doorway, hold the doorway, and then drop back so you don't fly back. You know what I mean? So we squat. And if this, again, this isn't available to you, you can also lean forward, or you can even lean on the couch and eventually sink your way in. So the knees, we want to open them up. So if you can, take your elbows into your knees. And if this is super easy for you, make the fists and squeeze the knees open. With the spine, you have the option of doing a relaxed squat, or you can bring the heart open. Either way is cool. So here we are in our squat. Actually, what I'm going to invite you to do next is reach your crown to your tailbone. And so I like to take my hands back. You can do this or not. You can even take your hands here. I like to grab and wrap, and then take my crown to my tailbone. Notice what your breath is doing in this position. Just notice, without doing anything fancy, just notice. Good, and then let's release that out and roll it up. Soft knees. Let me get this a little bit higher. I have like the most low budget rig over here. My laptop's on a stool. Okay, we're gonna get into neck and shoulders. Okay, so join me. We're gonna open up the neck, shoulders, chest. So soften your stance, and we're gonna draw a U with the head. So I'm gonna release my head to my shoulder, and then release forward, and then draw it back up to the other side. Soft knees. Notice what your breath naturally does when we flow like this. When the movement syncs up with the breath, the inhale lifts you, and the exhale naturally happens because you're contracting through the core. And then the inhale lifts. You might feel little crackles in your neck. I am. And if you want, you can add an arm. Carving through the sky. You can take it all the way around. Keep going. Same direction. Inhale, fill up. Exhale. Inhale. Let it go. Other way. Use the breath. Inhale. Let it go. Inhale. Let it go. Inhale. Let it go. Inhale. Let it go. Good. Just shake it out here. Good. From here, your thighs might be burning if you were doing that squat with me. My thighs are on fire right now, which is what I want. I want my thighs to be like, I am alive. So let's give them a little break. And we're going to move and circulate blood into the arms and hands. So just going to drop the hands and rock the knees. Notice the breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale. So we sync up breath and body. Good. Shake it out. Shake them out vigorously. I notice that my hips and pelvis go along with this. Maybe even get it into your head and neck if that's okay for your head and neck. Woo! You're gonna release one arm. Other way. And take it forward. Shake it out. And back. Other way. Good. Soft sway of the spine. You're going to get a spinal twist going with momentum. Easy breezy. Make sure your knees stay soft and you have a wide, solid stance. We're going to just swing it out. Access the breath with this. Let the head follow the spine. Stay in your squat. And then one arm flies up. Good, shake it out. We're going to take it into the pelvis, into the hips. So really soft. Take a wide stance. We're going to take the pelvis forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And then we're going to take it side to side, side, side. So make it yours. You can stylize it however you want. Doesn't matter how it looks. What we're focusing on is how it feels. So we're going to pick up the tempo. Let me turn up the music so you can hear it. Good, and then we're going to double that. And then double that. And double that into a shake, shimmy. I like to add sacred geometry to activate. Your thighs should probably be burning by now. Stick your booty up. Good, take it around. And just hop. If it's available, start to lift your knees. Good, bring it right up. Good, inhale up. And let it go. We're going to focus on the feet for a second. I'm going to drop this back down. Okay. So feet. We're going to lift both. And down. Bend the knees. Come up. And down. Let's see. Yay! I love moving with you too, Joe. I miss you. So we're going to take this a little bit further now. Full body. We're going to inhale it up. Come up on the balls of the feet. Bring it all the way down. Swing it back. Open it up. Bring it forward. And back up. And back down. Open it up. Come on back. And up. Good. So, more feet goodies. I'll take you down here. So for the feet, now we're going to work from this squat position. So I'm going to come up to the balls of the feet. And then down. Crown to tailbone. And back up. And back up. Back up. And down. Now, we're going to tuck the toes if this is doable for your body. If it's too much, do it 1 foot at a time. But this is crucial for our foot strength and mobility and flexibility, tucking the toes. I'm going to turn towards you for the next part. Now we're going to release the big toe. Release your big toes. Open it up. Are you sweating? I am. And we're going to reverse. The big toe goes back and all the other toes come out. Feel free to join me. Unlock your jaw, stick your tongue out. Let's take a big inhale. Remember, it doesn't matter how it looks, and probably the weirder the better. And then flex back up to your feet one more time. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is move around in the space as much as possible. And there's no rules to this, except I want you to explore being on all fours as you move through the room. And the invitation is to move without thinking it through, without worrying about what it looks like. Let the body explore the space as it wants to. Okay, let's go. Explore tempo, explore movement. I'm saying goodbye to my daughter. Oh yeah, go grab it. How is this feeling for you all? I'm sweaty. Love you, babe. Ooh. Smell you later. Okay, we're gonna end this movement part with full body shake. Sorry about the heavy breathing. Sorry, not sorry. Full body shake. Wowzers. Okay. We're going to find a moment of stillness here. So hopefully at this point, your blood is coursing through your body. Your breath is activated. The inner fire is activated. Take your hands onto your sacred body temple. Feel yourself inside of this sacred vessel. Your hands intuitively know where to go, to hold. The body temple is biologically designed to heal and regenerate and thrive against all odds. These earth body temples are literally one and the same with the earth. There is no difference. Our eternal, infinite life force energy animates these gifts from Mother Earth, sustained and provided by Mother Earth. So feel into the magnificence of your body temple. Just feel her or him or it, whatever your gender. Hold your body temple. Oh, God. My body is asking me for a forward fold for my lower back. I'm going to do it. Feel free to do what feels right for your body in this moment. Woo! Let's tap into primal sound as well in this moment. This is the thing, along with just free-flowing, intuitive, animal primal movement, primal sound. These are the things that society domesticates us to think are weird, wrong, bad, inappropriate. And so I would like to invite you to allow whatever sound wants to move through your body at this time. If you want to unlock the throat, you can even use hands to unlock and release. Maybe even envision which part of your body is making the tone and the sound and the release. We can release and disentangle and uncoil bound energy out through sound. Much more of that to be continued. So for the final part of this little movement journey, spontaneous movement journey, I would love to seal this movement practice the same way we came in, which is bowing in. And we bow into ourselves. We bow into each other. We bow into all those that came before, carved the way for this miracle to happen. You, the miracle, me, the miracle, us, the miracle. We bow to all those who will follow. We bow to all of our teachers. And I would like to say also that one of my most beloved movement teachers is here, Joe. And it's an honor to offer this movement back to you after all the midwifing that you have done for me for decades. And we bow to Mother Earth. And we bow to Source, to that infinite, eternal, sublime, ecstatic expression of love and the light beyond light that animates all. We bow to this and we acknowledge that all of us, everything is that. So bowing. And so it is. So this is just a little taste of fun and goodness that um, I like to do, and am passionate about guiding people in the world of movement. So we're going to drop into chatting, and so this is your opportunity to relax in your body. I would like to encourage you to find a resting position on the ground if it's available to you. Obviously, you're going to modify it for whatever is best for your body. Um, since I'm on this squat journey, I'm going to squat, but I'm also going to choose a lot of different seated resting positions, and you'll just notice how my body organically shifts and moves um, through seated ground positions. This is part of the rewilding process. In chairs do us a lot of disservice, and so many of us spend so much time daily in chairs, whether we're driving or whether we're seated at a desk or whatever the situation is. The seated position in chairs does not do any favors for our bodies. And so when we do the floor ground seating, um, we're opening up the body and we're keeping it moving and fluid, and assisting our body in keeping the life force energy moving through, and doing natural stretches and natural release. Again, this is a rest position from earliest humanity. Humans have done this for hundreds of thousands of years. And in many traditions that have survived white supremacy and oppression and patriarchy and capitalism, they have maintained this as their working position. Um, they'll squat like this for hours and hours all day long, and they'll use the restroom like this. I'm sure we can think of so many different cultures that still utilize this super essential body position for humans. So I'd love to invite you into the squat. So Maureen, that was so lovely. Thank you, Golden. I love the way you teach, and I especially enjoy the tidbits about rewilding like you're talking about now. Yay, thank you. Yeah. Um, Thank you for being here and moving with me, Maureen. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. And just on that note, I'll share a bit about why rewilding is so important to me. I'm going to grab water actually. Um, and I've been thinking a lot about my journey with dance and my journey with knowing myself and loving myself. Yeah, feel free to drop questions. And yay, I'm glad it felt ancient. That's right. How many lifetimes and how many ancestors and how many in our lineage were moving through us at that time, right? We carry all of humanity's lineage in our DNA. And so when we move freely, we allow them to move freely through us as well. And they're helping us remember and awaken the ways from the times where humanity thrived upon the planet. And this is why rewilding is so important to me, because the more that I awaken in this lifetime, the more I can see clearly that the dominant system has been designed to keep us perpetually in a chronic survival mode where we're always reaching outside of ourselves, which creates so much imbalance and misery. Where when humans are living in balance and symbiosis with earth and nature, it's a natural set up for thriving. And so knowing that our body temples are made of nature, made of earth, nothing else, and animated with the life force energy, when you look back over hundreds of thousands of years in humanity, you see that when humans lived symbiotically with the earth, we it's a design for thriving. Mother life is inherently abundant, and Mother Nature creates our bodies. She creates all the nourishment, all the sustaining, all of the grounding, all of the homing, everything that we need. We can source in her, and when we are aware of that and we're living symbiotically and taking care of her the way she takes care of us, it's a design for thriving, not just for humans, but for all creatures that live upon Mother Earth. We are all one family. And, not just some like new age hippy dippy statement, but that is the essential truth on the planet. These are the laws of nature. And when humans along the way, something infiltrated human consciousness and created this thought that somehow we are above everything else on the planet and we can utilize the planet as a resource without any sustainability practices or care or love or respect or mutuality. This is where the schism occurs, and we all feel the damage that is incurred. We all know. I don't have to list it out for any of us. I haven't taken a sip yet. Sip some water if you have some nearby, or go grab some. So I've been thinking about the importance of movement in rewilding my body. Rewilding for me is a whole lifestyle thing. And we can take it as much to the degree that we want to, right? I mean, it's a whole spectrum of ways that we can rewild. We can rewild with the way we eat, the way we breathe, the way that we live in our homes, the way that we adorn our bodies, the things that we put on our bodies in terms of products, right? The products we use in our homes. We can rewild in the way that we move about in the world. We can rewild in our work practices. We can rewild in our minds. So I think about it in terms of the earth elements. There's physical practices, there's watery, emotional body practices. There's the fire, which is like the action in the mind and the thought rewilding, and then air, which is the spirit aspect of rewilding and coming back into the truth of who we truly are. I'm speaking in loops. So I'm going to come back. The reason why it's so important for the rewilding of my movement practice is I've been thinking back, like all the way back in my own life, where I started off moving, like my thoughts of many years as a little girl, moving wildly in nature. I had that amazing privilege and gift to spend many years of my childhood and young adulthood in the countryside. And I rode horses. I played in streams and creeks. I climbed mountainsides with my cousins with no adults around. I spent all day out getting dirty. I didn't care what I looked like. I was playing like a freaking little animal and having the time of my life. I mean, Mother Nature was showing me how to just be. And so many people on the planet don't have that privilege because so many of us are born and raised in urban environments where there is a big disconnect with nature. And so we don't have that inherent understanding and value necessarily, or we do, but it's deep, deep, deep inside our DNA. And so the rewilding practices activate that. Now, as a dancer, I went into a world of technique and learning vocabularies and was magnetically and passionately drawn to cultures outside of what we would say my own lineage is, because I was drawn like a magnet to cultures that, even in the face of patriarchy and white supremacy and oppression and enslavement and genocide, maintained as much as they could of their practices in an unbroken lineage by any means necessary. And my spirit was drawn to these ways. My spirit was drawn to the drum. My spirit was drawn to sacred dance and sacred expression through movement and sacred practices that were maintained by peoples that just made sense to my soul. And and so I have studied and practices these different dance forms in my life and see how they've all been helping me come home to myself and come home to remembering that humanity is one family and that there are so many expressions of maintaining the one. And when I look at my own lineage, I see the way that the enforced severing happened thousands of years ago and was replaced by religion and the church. And so those old ways were forcibly removed from my most recent blood lineage. And I follow my lineage all the way back to the first peoples on the planet, right? And so my cousins upon the planet are the ones who adopted me into their cultures and said, come and be with us and participate and remember, right? And how humbling and reverent I am to these peoples. Okay, I'm gonna come into this. So what I'm doing with movement is because I've been a dancer and a technician and I've really worked on utilizing my body as an instrument and really working technique and vocabularies. What I'm really interested in exploring is remembering the vocabulary and the voice of my childhood, of my undomesticated self in my undomesticated body. And so I've been giving myself permission, which is a huge deal for trained dancers, to just freaking let it rip and not worry about what it looks like. And just as I say that, I think that's so important for all of us in the world because we're so entrained to be hyper vigilantly focused on, does this look okay? Are you gonna think I'm weird? Is this acceptable? Because we all have a need to be loved, to be connected, to be a part of the tribe, to be a part of the family, to be accepted, and to be in mutuality. And if you're anything like me, you might be the black sheep of your family, and they already thought you were just like the weird one, right? And so it's like add some freaking crazy dance movement, rewilding shit to the mix, and they're like, "What are you doing?" But when I do my primal movement, my natural movement, my intuitive movement, my creative movement, my free flow, whatever name you want to put on it, rewilding, um, essentially what I'm doing is I'm tapping into my animal body, which is encoded with the wisdom of humanity that stretches all the way back to the beginning of time. And so when I disentangle from domestication, um, I am accessing my potential and I'm activating myself and I'm then letting my body have more energy to heal and regenerate and intuit and have instincts and remember how to be a human, a wild human. Okay, I just talked, and I want to make space for questions. Sorry, if you guys know me, I can go on a freaking roll. And so you guys gotta be like, hang on. You said we could ask questions. Oh, good. That was your question? Okay, cool. Yes. So the thing is, like Joe's saying, essential what you're teaching as I navigate urban life. Me too, because it's one thing to be rewilding when we live out on in a jungle or if we live out on a farm, even an urban farm, right? The more and more that we are removed and we're living in the concrete jungle, um, the more we really have to develop our practices of rewilding ourselves and reconnecting to the elements. And so I mean, the most extreme case is even if I'm locked in a cell, a concrete cell, and I don't get any sunlight, I don't get any natural foods, I have to eat. Like, like imagine someone who's in prison. They're drinking fluoridated water with a ton of chemicals in it. They're eating the lowest grade possible food like substances. They might not have a lot of access to community. They might not get fresh air and sunshine. Imagine. So, all the way to the extreme case like that, what we can do is go nature, nature. All the elements are encased within my body temple. And if I have breath, I have access to that air element. And the life force energy rides the breath, because what happens to humans when we go long enough without breath? We can go a long time without food, maybe even a month. We can go many days without water, from what I understand in the masters that I've studied. But we can't go days without breath, as far as I know. Maybe there's some yogis, some ascended masters who can do that, probably. But the most I've heard is that maybe under an hour. I've heard of people who really master the breath. We don't have the breath. We leave the body, right? And so when whatever situation I'm in, I'm always going to see what elements I can tap into to reconnect to my nature. And if all I have is the breath, I'm going to focus in on riding the breath, be a big wave breath rider, right? Feel me? So Joe said, so this can help unravel false belonging, the long held lies. I 100% think so. And that is a huge part of why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. My work, I call it the art of awakening, helping people remember the truth of who we truly are. And so as we simplify, we can and come back to our nature and come back into as much balance and symbiosis with the natural ways of humanity. We can disentangle those dominant system programs from our truth with a capital T, with our own inner truth. And so these are powerful tools to figure out how to thrive within a system that is designed to keep us in survival. And the gorgeous, beautiful thing is that we don't have to go spend $1 billion to figure it out. It's literally down to find the cleanest water you can find. Find the most whole and natural and organic foods. And I know that's very privileged sounding because I know so many people do not have access, but we want to source out as much whole foods as we can, unprocessed and organic. We want to connect our bodies as much as we can to the natural elements, the sun, the air, the earth, walking barefoot, right? These are all of the ways. These are the things I'm going to be talking about in the rewilding workshop. So the more that we come back into our true nature, the more we have that consciousness, because we're awakening our consciousness in our bodies to say, this thing I've been believing my whole life, I actually don't believe it. It actually doesn't resonate with me. And I actually realized that was a program. Like, for example, as a little girl, I was taught through being told and by seeing that girls do not sit like this. Even in the car, guys sit like this, girls sit like this, right? This is unladylike, especially if you're wearing a skirt. And it's like, but what if this is a powerful position for me? So I'm going to do this because this is what's expected of me, right? This is what I'm going to do because this is ladylike and this is too guyish. Simple. I mean, you start to like really unravel all the programs, right? Like a big one is the beauty one, where we female bodied or female identifying people are taught that one of our main sources of currency is beauty. And that is our currency to get love and connection and attention and value and worth and community and jobs and freaking everything, right? It's like we're entrained in that. And so it's subconsciously programmed in us. And when we start to disentangle from the programs, we can understand them, but we can relate to the programs in different ways, in more empowered ways. Maureen said, what's your favorite breathwork practice, Golden? Anything specific? Sounds like you're starting to talk about that now. Okay, breathwork. Well, the most simple breathwork that I love, thank you for that question, is literally notice your breath. This is the most simple thing I do with my coaching clients, to invite them into a relationship with our breath, because so many of us are, because our body is biologically designed to breathe without us thinking about it. Thank you, body. So incredibly intelligent. We don't give it much thought. And so there's a disconnect, right? And you could see that when we were moving, when you start to really move, you notice with your mind, whoa, my breath is dancing with my body. My breath is actually moving my body, and my body is moving with my breath. And you start to notice, oh, when I contract, the exhale slips out effortlessly. And when I expand and lift my body, the breath lifts me. So the noticing mind can curiously and compassionately notice how I'm breathing right now. A lot of people that I coach one-on-one, we notice that we all become shallow breathers if we don't have a breathwork practice. And a lot of us breathe up here in our chest. Right? Just notice where you're breathing now. And that can also be the body on conservation mode. So the easiest breathwork practice to access is noticing. And what's funny and interesting, what I find for myself to be true, is that when I start to just notice my breath, my body naturally starts to deepen the breath. Naturally, right? When I'm like going to meditating and noticing my breath, my body will drop to receive the inhale low, belly, chest, head, and let it go. And I ride the breath. I notice the breath. I notice the way it deepens. I notice the way that it expands my body with an inhale. And I notice the way the breath just simply effortlessly surrenders on the exhale. There's so many pranayama practices that I've learned through being a yoga practitioner. And I would love to share those here with y'all if you're interested in other videos. One that I've been practicing a lot this year is conscious breath work that I learned by doing a Wim Hof method training. I started the training in January, and I did that program, and his whole program is based around breath work, cold therapy, and mindfulness meditation and mindset. And so he has a really specific conscious breathing system, and it's designed to hyperoxygenate your body. And so there's all kinds of benefits that come along with conscious breath work. And this is the breath work that I do in the morning before I get my movement practice going. And then I go take my cold shower every day. And it's just something I've adopted in my practice of friggin' getting in my body and healing my body. I mean, these are things that I've had to do out of necessity, of healing from cancer treatments that were incredibly destructive to my body. And so, being a lifelong mover and dancer, I'm hyper aware of how I feel in my body, and I can tell how much different my experience in my body is after cancer treatments from before. I mean, it's night and day. And so I was just like, yo, I need help. I need to figure out how to be okay being in this body and not totally medicated the way that my doctors were suggesting in order to cope. They were saying antidepressants and painkillers because I was like, I don't know how to live like this. Like I am in constant high degrees of pain. I have arthritis and fibromyalgia and a whole host of other things, brain damage. And so I was like, let me look to nature. I must. This is my way. Because I just chose. I'm not doing the pharmaceutical route. Those, to me, are not going to the root. And I don't blame or shame anyone who chooses medication. I've had to use it before in the past. I'm just saying my choice this time was like, I know that I need to go into the route of asking nature to show me the way. And so that's just where I'm at right now. Joe said it feels scary. I've been identified with roles. Any wisdom on that? And then you said you're answering my questions as I type them. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. We've all had roles placed upon us. And if you're a female-bodied or a female-identifying person, and I say that because, I can so relate to that. And I know that male-identifying and male-bodied people have this too. I mean, it's not easy for them either. But, I just think all the way back in my lineage where not too long ago was the burning times. And when female-bodied people were being burnt and tortured and sacrificed by the church because they just had natural practices. They used herbs to heal. They delivered babies as midwives. They were the town healers. They did alchemy by cooking and preparing meals to help nurse people back to life. And, the church wanted to call this witchcraft and took how many lives in the name of Christianity, saying that us just being natural was wrong. And we carry that in our bones. And, peoples who have been oppressed across the spectrum, all ethnicities, all backgrounds, have suffered at the hands of patriarchy and white supremacy and the dominant system machine that benefits off of us being on survival mode and us being disconnected with our true essence. And so, it's domesticated right out of us the minute we go to kindergarten. We're taught to sit in desks. We're taught to follow bells. We're taught to respect the authority no matter what. We're taught to be quiet and be seen, not heard. We're taught to think and write and do everything in a specific prescribed way. And when you think just about the public school system in the United States, it was literally designed to create industry workers, factory workers. That's what the school system was designed for in the beginning. And it still goes on today, And so we have had a lifelong experience of conditioning, and it's not an easy practice to disentangle and unpack it and think critically and compassionately about it. Because a big part of this practice, when we do start to unpack it and look at it, a lot of mourning comes up, a lot of pain, a lot of like, oh my God, I spent how much of my life doing that? And so I allow myself to feel the pain of that. And then right away, I come in with the compassion and the empathy for myself of like, yes, you did. And you were doing your best, what you had. And you were born into a system that needed you to be this when you are this. And you've had to do this just to survive. Anyone who's a single mom, you can feel me. Anyone who's a human, you can feel me. The things that we have to do just to make it work all the people of color who are here, Black and Indigenous people of color who are here, all the queer folks, anybody who's been marginalized can feel me. What I'm saying is like how much of our true nature has gone sacrificed and quieted and muffled and hidden and just domesticated out of us so that we can just simply function in the world. And so this is a big act of liberation and freedom and empowerment and coming back into living in this world from a place of self-awareness, understanding the system, having a different relationship with the system because we're having a different relationship with ourselves. And then we show up more empowered in all of our relationships, our relationship to the earth, to each other, to ourselves, to our jobs, to our families, to everything, right? Okay, are there any other questions? I'm so appreciating Maureen and Joe for being here on this journey with me this morning. I would love to answer any other questions that come up. This is so fun. I could literally sit here all day and do this. I'm going to take a sip of water and give you a chance if you have any other questions or thoughts or reflections. I like to do the thinking and the reflecting after the movement because, like I was saying in the beginning, so much of our lives is up here, right? Out of necessity, we're navigating the world. And so when we drop into here, we're activating that primal self, that instinctual, wise, animal, intuitive soul self that inhabits this human body and is calling upon the wisdom that lives within the human body temple, that's encoded into us. These are masterpieces. These are, I mean, just look at yourself. You are a masterful work of art. This is just, when I think about the design of the human body temple, I'm like, when I studied anatomy in school, I was like, it felt like I was on acid the whole time because I'm like, dude, the intelligent force that designed this. And just to think, I mean, my personal belief is that we are infinite life source. We are the thing that designed this. Coming in and having this finite experience. We are infinite life. Decided to come in and have a finite human experience on planet Earth to have this journey of remembering. We come in with divine forgetfulness. We forget our true nature. It's by design. It's like a game of divine hide and seek. And this awakening journey is about remembering the truth of who we truly are and saying, wow, I'm not going to be in this body forever. So I'm going to savor it. It's precious. I'm going to value and make the most of my time in this body temple, not just for me, but in service to all, including the planet, including others, to all the generations who are going to inherit this planet. I want to leave the planet a better place for them to be. I want them to experience the joy of thriving, truly thriving. Not the thriving that is defined by the dominant system, but true thriving, living in symbiosis and in harmony with the ecosystem planet Earth. Joe said, authenticity since we are programmed. Authenticity since we are programmed, I am inquiry about that. I'm not sure if I understand what your question is. Oh, on authenticity. Well, I think authenticity is a winding path, spiral path inward, and I am deep in the process of inquiry around what is my authentic truth. I am deep in this peeling the layers of the onion process of, ooh, nope, not mine, not mine. Oh, yeah, this feels resonant. I'm going to dance with this. Yeah, this is definitely not mine, but I've been doing it for a lifetime, and so it feels like it's mine, and this is really confusing. And so I'll do it again and again and again. And I just think it's this nonlinear spiral journey inward, inquiry, a curious and compassionate inquiry of who am I? And ultimately, Joe, like to answer that, ask every day. I ask my wisest self, my deepest, truest, infinite self, the one who decided to come here. And I ask those that came before me, and I ask the guides that walk with me, and I ask the earth, please show me. Please show me the truth of who I truly am. And I ask sincerely because I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. And I'm 44 and I'm like still figuring out who I truly am and figuring out what aspects of my being that I've taken on that do resonate and make sense and serve me and serve the greater good. And then I'm looking at those aspects that have been placed upon me that I've incorporated as me, but aren't me. And these are beliefs and just systems of living. And so I'm figuring out how to relate to those differently and honor the part of me that took that on at that time because that's what made sense or that's just what I needed to do at that time. And I just carry a lot of compassion for myself in this process. Like I was saying, a lot of just mourning can come up of like, wow, I've been carrying this belief about myself. Like, for example, for me, that I'm not enough, I'm not lovable. We go back into the core wounds, go back into the core wounds of whatever was imprinted upon us in early childhood that we took on as true, right? And so I'm feeling into those compassionately and I'm loving the inner child that took on these core wounds as truth and has navigated my life from having an inner child at the helm of the ship, running the show, from the mentality of my core wounds are my truth and my reality. So there's a lot of loving and healing for the inner child of saying, of course you believed that you weren't enough. Look at what your life was. Of course that's what you perceived and took on as truth. And it helps me have compassion also for my family because I can go, you know what? They weren't perfect. They were doing the best they could. And my life story became this because it needed to be that. Does that make sense? Honoring, oh, mine, not mine, your heart and soul, words bring tears. Thank you, rivers of salty love, holy water, cleansing us. Yesterday, I was riding waves of anxiety. It was a really hard day and panic and just about my life circumstances. And I have practices now that are like in my emergency toolkit where I'm like, I'm going to get my ass on my bike because I don't have a car anymore. I'm going to get my ass on my bike. I am biking to the beach and I am going to move my body in the sand. I'm taking off my shoes. I'm wearing as little clothes as possible. I'm going to get in nature. I'm going to move vigorously. I'm going to breathe. And what's cool is, not too long ago, I was really hung up about doing that in front of other people. And would be like really embarrassed and inhibited. And I'm just giving myself a pat on the back because after doing that practice a lot, now I'm like, fuck it. People see me, whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm just moving and I'm in my thing and I'm breathing and the sun is hitting me and the wind is whipping and sand is flying and I don't care what I look like, and I'm breathing and I'm moving and I'm connected. And the anxiety goes up through and out. And I land afterwards and I'm like, I feel better. I know my medicine is the beach, my sanctuary, the ocean, riding my bike, moving my body, breathing, sun, air, nature, moving it through. If I sat around in my house and let anxiety and panic sit and fester in my body, I would be a basket case. So for me, these tools are not just like these frivolous, pretty, fluffy things. They literally are life saving emergency toolkit tools for me. And so I like to share them with other people. Maureen, yes, it was Yaya and Nazdita's emails who informed me about your situation and this Patreon of yours. Grateful to have access to your teachings. Oh, thank you, Maureen. Wow. And thank you to Yaya and Nazdita. They are both really special beings and sisters, and to me, earth angels in my life. And on that note, I'm just going to say that during the cancer portal, my job went away in the first leg of treatment, my full-time job. My job that told me, when I told them my diagnosis and that I needed to take time off for treatment, they said, no problem. Um, take as much time as you need. Your job is here. Do not worry. So I was like, cool, okay, that's a great relief. And I wasn't even through with the first leg of my long journey when I was informed that I no longer had a job there. And so I lost my insurance, I lost my job, my source of income. And I was able to get unemployment for a while I was still in treatment. I was able to get on Medi-Cal. And I have to say that the reason I still live in this apartment with my daughter is because of community. Jo is another one. She created a fundraiser for me. She came down here and created a fundraiser. Nazdita has been, Yaya, they've all done fundraisers for me and have been emotional support, financial support, spiritual support, physical support. And so I just sing the praises of the power of community, that my daughter and I would be homeless right now if it weren't for the support of community. And that's still true today. I mean, a portion of my rent and bills is paid by donations, and it's paid by Patreon, literally. So I cannot sing the praises of my community enough, of this miracle of being held, and that helps me heal my wound, one of my core wounds of childhood, of not experiencing unconditional love and acceptance in my family unit, in my tribe. This is something I carried through my life. And, like at age 18, it was like, you're on your own. And for the most part. And I just got this download of like, I gotta do it myself. And then as a single mom, it was like, gotta do it myself. Gotta make everything happen by myself. And cancer just came along and was like, listen, it really showed me that, I don't believe even single motherhood is a sustainable practice. It's not. We do it because out of necessity we must. But if I didn't have my community as a single mom, I don't even know how I would have managed that. So, and then with cancer as a single mom, my community literally carried me through. So incredible. Thank you, Maureen. Very strong and a huge inspiration. Thank you for your courage and strength. Praise be to family and community. Indeed. Indeed. Yes, I feel held. Even when I'm scared and even when I'm not sure how I'm going to figure out the next steps, I can at least, I have enough experience in my life to look back and go, dude, I was carried through the darkest. I was carried through even the hell realms. Even when I was sitting and meditating in the fires of hell for months and months during cancer treatment was hell realms. I was still being divinely held. And so that helps me understand that there is a force that is always holding us. And my intention is to more and more reverently and humbly ask, you have given me everything. You sustain me, force. How can I be of greatest service to you? Please show me. I will do whatever I'm shown. Literally. Literally. That's how I live, is like, you need me to, do this, do that, get a full-time desk job, I'll do it. Like whatever it is, wherever I'm most needed on the planet, I'll go and I'll do it. And that's intense and scary to say, but I trust. Even when I'm scared, even when I'm unsure, I trust, and I devote my life to that energy that animates all, that animates me. And I ask my infinite wise self, like, why are we here? Like you were saying, Joe, why am I here right now? How can I be of greatest benefit to myself and my own journey and to all? Because it's not just about me. It's first, it starts with me, but when I'm taking care of this, it instantaneously ripples into all. It goes I to we to be. And so my devotion is to be in alignment with that and to continue to pull myself back when I'm in fear, when I'm in scarcity, when I'm in lack, when I'm in poverty, when I'm in overwhelm, when I'm in chaos, to continuously use the practices and tools to come back into the love frequency. Oh, this is a blessing too. Oh, this is a lesson in disguise. This is for me. It's not to torture me or punish me or hurt me, which I can run a lot of that in my head when life gets hard. I'll go into like, oh my fucking God, like really? I must be being punished for something. Life must just like want to torture me. And that's when I'm really in my disconnect mind. And so I'm always attempting to call myself back in home to thank you for this. There must be potent wisdom in this. There must be medicine in this for me, or it wouldn't be happening. So it takes me more into a place of equanimity instead of saying good stuff, bad stuff. Go towards the good stuff, avoid the bad stuff. And that's a big part of the cold shower stuff, right? It's like, oh, go get in that uncomfortable stuff. There's actually tons of benefits in the discomfort. When we step outside the comfort zone, that's where we expand and grow and we learn more about ourselves. Yes, devotion. I heard someone a while back reframe discipline into devotion with their practice. And I really like that reframe. And I adopted that in my own life of, my practices, yes, they create discipline in me, but when they're rooted deeply into why I believe I'm here, it's a devotion. It's a devotion to show up here, and it's an honor, and I'm humbled to be here and sharing this. It's my devotion to be in service to all. It's all I want to do. It's all I want to do. And I'm just trying to figure out how to translate that into capitalism and monetize it and like make money doing what I love. And I've never quite figured that out as a dancer, as an artist, as a person who offers healing, guidance, facilitation. I've never figured out how to parlay that into lots of money. I've always worked other jobs in order to sustain myself as a single mom and my kids. And so that's my inquiry now is like, Spirit, how do I do this work that I love to do and I'm passionate about it? How do I do that and receive the flow of abundance in the form of financial support and let it just flow through like a river, right? Like let it come in and let it go. Let it come in and let it go in deep trust and to be carried by that. So I'm trying to figure that out. And actually, I'm thinking about incorporating that into my 2020 Art of Awakening program that I'm going to host here on Patreon. So I guess I'll share with you on that note. I will market and promote my workshop next weekend is a rewilding 2-hour online workshop here on Patreon. And we're going to do it in this format. So you'll have the opportunity to do it live, ask questions, and it'll have instant replay access for later if you can't make it. And anybody who signs up for the workshop is going to have instant access to all the other stuff that I have on Patreon, except my Body Wisdom book. I think that's available at the 33 and up tier. It's an instant downloadable version of my book. And I wrote that during my cancer journey with just the downloads that were coming through me at that time. And it's a workshop, not a workshop, it's a workbook kind of book. And so Rewilding is next Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm planning to do one in December as well as a year review and a decade review. Because I personally want to be really ready for 2020. And I want to facilitate us doing this reflection and review and preparation for 2020 together. So I might do it around winter solstice. I'm not quite sure. I haven't, probably around there, which is towards the end of December. And I'm going to be launching 2020 Art of Awakening year-long workshop experience here on Patreon. And so every month I'm going to have a different topic, and I'm looking at it like this: 12 months in the year. The first 3 months are winter, and we're going to be exploring the earth element. And then the next 3 months are spring. We're going to be exploring the water element. And then the next 3 months are summer. We're going to be exploring fire. And then fall, air. And so there's going to be different themes and topics for every month. And the way that I see it is we'll do the workshop towards the beginning of the month, the teaching workshop, and then I'm going to do a Q&A later in the month after people have absorbed the info and have questions or reflections, and we can talk about it. So this is my little dream that I get emotional saying it. I have to give myself permission to dream again. Whew. That this could sustain me next year, me and my daughter. I would love for this to be my mainstay and my mainstream of income for 2020, along with one-on-one coaching clients, along with live workshops, along with speaking engagements and teaching and writing my book. I mean, I really want to make it happen. And excuse me, snotty. um, I would love for this to not only serve me. I don't want my work to just serve me. Of course, I need to receive money to pay my bills. I'm not trying to be in some mansion anywhere with a ton of cars or anything like that. I want to live simply, but I want to live sustainably. And I want to do it, I want to receive abundance doing deeply meaningful work that is in service to all, as many as possible, to the planet, to you, to our community, to the world, and then, all. And I just have a heart vision for this. I want to experience what it's like to receive financial flow doing the work that I love and doing work that I pray is deeply meaningful and of value for others. So, yay. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Maureen. So I would love for you to join me on Rewilding. I would love for you to join me in the year in review and decade in review. Wow. I was writing my notes on that. I'm like, whoa, reviewing the last decade? There's a lot to review for me there. And then looking into 2020, I already have laid out my calendar for 2020, and I'm really wanting to approach it with intention and with presence and with mindfulness and asking to be shown how I can best utilize my time in 2020. And so I want to take people on the journey with me. So, wow, we've been going for an hour and a half, and it feels like 5 minutes. And I'm just so pleased and honored that you've both been here with me and decided to say yes and do the journey today. And just want to bow to you. I feel like we're hanging out and I can't see you, but I can feel you. So thank you for moving with me. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for supporting me. Hopefully I am in service and support to you as well. That's my intent. And feel free to share this experience with others and invite them if it resonates and feels right. And just can't thank you enough. I'm wishing you the most epic, beautiful, incredible day. I would love for us to close with embracing ourselves and saying, thank you, body. I love you, body. Give yourself a hug. We can release our own oxytocin, the feel-good chemicals, by extended holding and hugging. I notice my body goes into its own intuitive, gentle rock. It's like I am the mother and I'm the child and I'm the grandma all at once. Maybe Mother Crone, right? Oshunya Maya, oh yeah. All of that lives within me, all of that lives within you, all the elements, all the archetypes, and the infinite eternal source that animates. And so I bow to this exquisite work of art, my body temple. I bow to all those who came before and all those who will follow. I bow to the earth, bow to the sun, cosmos. I bow to all of existence. And I bow to the animating force. And so it is, and blessed be. Peace be within you always. I don't want to say goodbye. Love you, Maureen. Love you, Joe. All my love. Kisses and hugs. Ciao, baby.